Your choice of digital audio workstation, or DAW, or DAW, whatever you want to call it, will shape the way that you record, edit, produce, and mix your music. But does it really matter which one you choose? For those unsure, a DAW is a piece of software. A DAW provides an environment and an interface for the capturing and modifying of audio files and MIDI data on your computer. And there are quite a few of them on the market, all with some subtle and some larger differences. When I started learning music production in college, I was learning on Cubase, and then in university I moved on to Logic, and then since I've been working in studios, I've been using Pro Tools. I've dabbled with a few others over the years as well, but now I've stuck with Pro Tools. But would it have really made a difference if I'd picked one of the other DAWs instead? Let's get one thing cleared up straight away. Your choice of DAW does not affect the audio quality of your recordings. I've seen a few questions like this on some of the music production groups, questions like which DAW gives the best quality vocals. The DAW does not affect the quality of the audio. It's a graphical interface and a set of tools. Your audio quality is entirely down to your microphone and your preamp in your audio interface. Now, you might find that some DAWs don't record at a certain sample rate or bit rate that you're hoping to record at. For example, GarageBand only records up to 24-bit and 44.1 kilohertz. So if your audio interface can record up to 96 kilohertz, for example, and you're hoping to take advantage of that extra quality, you'll have to take that into consideration when choosing which DAW to use. However, this isn't the case of the DAW providing higher quality recordings. That's your audio interface that's doing the work. Also, most DAWs will support those higher sample rates, but for 99% of applications, especially if you're recording from home, those sample rates just aren't necessary. The difference will be negligible. So it's more of a feature that the DAW is providing rather than any inherent improvement in the sound quality, which brings me on to my next point. Features. All of the most popular DAWs share the most important features, whether you're using Cubase, Logic, Pro Tools, Ableton Live, FL Studio, PreSonus, Studio One. They'll all let you multi-track record audio, sequence MIDI data, edit the audio, apply plugins. All the most important stuff is going to be covered. So whichever DAW you use, you'll be able to produce music in any genre. However, DAWs do tend to come with their own sets of smaller features, which some producers and engineers might find desirable depending on their preferred genre or preferred tools and techniques. For example, Logic includes the drummer tool, which lets you pick an AI percussionist to play MIDI drum performance for you in a certain genre. Now that's great if that appeals for you, but if you don't tend to use sample drums or you have your own third-party plugins you already use for that, then that's not going to be a selling point for you. FL Studio and Ableton Live have some solid built-in sampling tools and synths. Pro Tools, not so much. But again, that doesn't mean you can't produce electronic music on Pro Tools. If you have your own set of third-party plugins you use, and if you're comfortable with the way that Pro Tools handles MIDI, then you can make the tool work for you. Which brings me on to my third and final point, workflow. Now this is where DAWs can differentiate from each other the most. The user interface can vary greatly between DAWs, from superficial things like the colour scheme and style to more impactful differences like the layout of the controls. For example, Ableton Live has its very unique session view, which allows users to experiment with clips of audio and MIDI in a very unique, non-linear way, which works great for electronic music. And Pro Tools has a mixer layout that's quite reminiscent of a traditional mixing desk, which for those used to that kind of environment, that can work really well for them. There are countless other nuances that differentiate the workflow of DAWs from each other as well. The way they handle multi-takes and comping, the way the inputs and outputs and buses are handled, even the layout of the windows on the screen. Now, like I mentioned before, I mainly use Pro Tools. The mixer layout makes sense to me after getting used to physical mixing desks, and I mainly work with recorded audio, and the audio editing functions feel very comfortable to me. I can work quickly with it, and comfort and speed are what it's really all about. So, no matter what genre you're working with, there's no right or wrong DAW to choose. None of them are going to inherently make your music better or worse. Does it matter at all which DAW you work with though? It matters to the extent of which DAW you're most comfortable with and which one you have the most fun with. And also if there are any very specific features you're looking for, you'll need to check which DAWs include them. Music production is a creative art, and whichever tool allows you to make your art with the least amount of resistance, that's the one you should pick. And the best way of deciding which DAW to use is by trying them out. A lot of DAWs, even the premium ones, have free trials that allow you to test the DAW for a limited time, or they'll offer an unlimited free version that just has a few features cut out. There's a link in the description below that just goes through where you can get these free DAWs and which ones I recommend taking for a spin. So give them a go, try them out and see which one works for you. And leave a comment below. Let me know what your favourite DAW is, or which ones you're planning on trying out if you haven't decided yet. And if you want to see more DAW talk and recording and mixing tips and tutorials, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.